Okay, this is the ultimate core workout guide for footballers. This is great for beginners. It requires no equipment, but it can be done by a player of any level just to understand the different movements and exercises that can be done and why they transfer over well to improving football performance, both in terms of athleticism, but also in terms of shielding the ball, things like that, and your actual skills and technical ability on the ball. So the first movement we're going to think about is flexion. Okay, so flexion is this movement when the spine is bending forwards like this. Think about in terms of on the pitch, flexion might happen if there's a defender behind you and they come and put some pressure onto you and they push you forwards like this, and you come forwards to try and hold them off, but also to try and protect the ball that's coming in and hold your position. So I'll give you one or two examples per movement. This one's, your classic core exercises. So think about a crunch. So you come down, just keep looking at the ceiling, all the way up, squeeze your abs, come up, hold at the top, down with control. As you come down, you're still engaging your abs on the way down. Okay, and I'm not looking forwards like this, I'm looking upwards at the ceiling. So squeeze, come up, down with control. Now you've also got obviously variations of that. You could do sit-ups as well. Another one in terms of an isometric exercise where you're just holding one position as strongly as you can would be a hollow hold. So you'd lie down, you can have your arms out to the side, you just come up like this, legs off the ground, just hovering on your butt and your lower back, trying to hold that position, okay, without collapsing. So that's our first movement, which is flexion. The next movement we're going to think about is extension. So this is when the spine is arching backwards. So think about chesting the ball, preparing to go up for a header. Both of those movements are extension. It's easier to do this if you've got some equipment. There's limited options with body weight, but I'll show you a couple. So one is just a simple back extension from the ground. Okay, so just elbows just hovering above the floor. Just coming up like this, squeeze at the top, down with control, and back up, down with control. You could also do like a Superman, where you're coming up like this. You can bring your legs up as well, and just try and hold this position. So that's more like your isometric exercise. If you've got access to a gym, then a lot of them will have back extension machines, where you can get a little bit more range in that movement. Or another good example, I can show you with a Bosu. It just adds a little bit more range to the movement, like I say. So you just position yourself so you find a stable position. You come down, you can see there I can get a little bit more depth. Squeeze and come up. Okay, so that's an example of extension and how that carries over into your movements on the football pitch. Next movement we're going to think about is lateral flexion. So that's this movement here. I'm flexing on this side of the body. So think about if you've got an opponent coming in from the side to make a challenge, and you're doing this to try and protect the ball and hold them off. Also, if you're going in for a shoulder barge, okay, it's this movement, or if you're trying to move across away from someone to the side, you're gonna have that lateral flexion movement there. So simple exercise for this with just your body weight. Come down to a side plank position. Okay, from here, you're just gonna drop your hip down and back up. Down to the ground, hover it above, and then back up. If you've got a couple of dumbbells, then you could also hold a dumbbell on either side and just have this movement here where you're just adding load to that movement. So that's also lateral flexion. Next, we're going to think about rotation. So that twisting movement. In terms of how you'd see that on the pitch, it would be when you're striking the ball on the turn, or you're playing a pass on the turn as well, or you're trying to spin and turn away from one of your opponents. So how can we train that movement? Simple one with just our body weight is a Russian twist. Okay, so you just hover on your butt, hands together, twist to the side, back to the center, twist to the side, trying to keep your balance throughout the whole time. Okay, if you've got medicine ball, then you could do like side medicine ball throws like that. If you've got resistance bands or cables, you can do different wood chop variations from low to high, high to low, or just straight across your body as well. Next, we're going to think about anti-flexion. So this is trying to resist that movement there. So imagine again that you've got a defender coming in behind you and they give you a real shove, real barge, and you go like this. Okay, you're trying to resist falling all the way forwards. so you don't lose your balance and fall over. So really simple one for this one is a plank. So you come down just in this position here, engage your core, your glutes, and also your quads as well, and squeeze and hold this position. You should have a nice straight line from your shoulder down to the back of your heel. Okay, and you're trying to avoid coming up like this and also dipping down like that. So a nice, strong, solid position. If you have some heavier equipment and you're a little bit more experienced with weight training with additional load, then you could do something like walking along with a heavy weight in each hand. And if you think about it, that's going to try and pull you forwards like this as you're walking along, and you're trying to resist that and stay upright. But plank and different variations of that are a great first option just with using your body weight. Next, we're going to think about anti-extension. So you're trying to resist that arching of the lower back. So let's imagine you land from going up for a header. You're trying to resist an awkward landing when you fall backwards like this. Also, if you're striking the ball and you're excessively leaning back, it's probably not going to be a precise and good quality strike. Also, think about when you're sprinting, try not to get into this position where you're leaning back like this. That's going to affect your speed. So we want to maintain our position and be nice and solid and not have an excessive bend in the lower back there. So a good exercise for this is a dead bug. So what you're doing here, lying down, and I'm trying to push my lower back, keep that connected with the mat. So I bend my knees, arms up straight ahead, above me. I'm looking at the ceiling, and I'm lowering my hands and my legs at the same time as trying to engage in my core, resisting myself from doing this arching in the lower back there. So actively trying to keep my back pushed down into the mat as much as possible. So I'm here, come down, just hovering above the floor and back up and down and back up. So you could do more advanced variations of this. So you could hold a medicine ball, for example, to add some additional load, and that will increase the challenge. That's really going to challenge you to resist that lower back arch. Next, we're going to think about anti-lateral flexion. So actually resisting this movement now. So imagine someone comes in from the side, bosh, they contact you and you go like this. You're trying to resist that and remain nice and strong and stable in this position. So simple exercise for this is a side plank, where we're actually now just trying to keep the hips up and level in this position here and not let them drop down like this. So keep them up. If you've got a partner with you, they can actually push on top of this hip here, try and push you down, and you're trying to resist that to increase the challenge. If you've got some heavier weights, then you could also think about a single-sided farmer's walk. So if you've got a heavy kettlebell or dumbbell, holding that in one side, walking along, and then that's going to try and pull you to one side, and you're trying to limit that and maintain central with your core. And that'll also have a carryover to when you're sprinting, resisting that excessive side-to-side movement. So more of your energy is going to be helping you go in the direction that you're running or sprinting in. Our next movement is anti-rotation. So that's this movement again. This is rotation, twisting. So why I'd want anti-rotation? Imagine you've got someone trying to mark you and they sort of push you in the shoulder here and try and push you off balance this way. So that would be anti-rotation. Or if you're just about to brace for impact from a challenge, you don't want to fall away, then that's going to help you as well. So a good one with this is a plank where we're coming onto one arm. Okay, so I'll show you from this angle here. So you come down into your plank position and then you have one arm off and you're trying to resist falling to the ground like this. So we're here, 3, 2, 1 and switch, 3, 2, 1 and switch. And you could do a quick switch to increase the challenge of that anti-rotation. Some more classic anti-rotation exercises are a Palloff press, where you'd have a resistance band to the side, you're holding it centrally and you're performing reps like this. Try not to let the band pull you or rotate you around to the side towards the anchor point. Also a bird dog. So a bird dog is essentially where you come down like this, you've got one arm up and one foot up, and you're just trying to resist any sort of rotation, falling diagonally inwards as you do that. So nice and strong throughout your core. That's a good one for beginners as well. We're going to highlight one final movement, which is thinking about how force travels diagonally across the body. So that connection there. Throughout many of these different movements, when you're using lots of different variations of these exercises, you'll likely be training that anyway, but I just want to highlight it. So a good example of this would be a dead bug, but this time opposite arm, opposite leg going down. Okay, so you can see I've got my left arm going down here, my right leg goes down. So I'm just training that force transfer diagonally across the body there. But again, if you're using any sorts of cable chops, sort of from low to high, then those sorts of movements are already going to be training that. Another one could be if you're in this plank position and you're doing like a mountain climber, where your knees are driving diagonally across your body. Okay, another example there. But in a nutshell, these are all of the key core exercises and movements that we want to be including in a good, well-rounded football athlete core training session. There's hundreds of different variations of all these exercises. So just showing you a few examples, trying to stick to just body weight, so it's really simple and anybody can do this from home. If you'd like any more guidance with this and full complete workouts with a full program, then details are in the description below this video. Hope you feel like you got some useful tips from this video that you can apply to your own training so you can improve your athleticism but also your performance on the ball as well. Thanks so much for watching and I'll catch you in the next one.